What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Dirty Shore Underground. Tonight, it's a little bit of mix of music, a little bit of mix of hacking, if you want to call it that.
And a big surprise at the end.
So, here we go with the surprises.
Yeah.
But before we get into it, Rob,
make sure you check out DirtyShoreUnderground.com. New episodes of the podcast every Thursday. Sadly, we are done with our bonus episodes, but you can make sure and review our reviews of The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead. We had those every Sunday night, so make sure you check those out on YouTube, and the episodes are available at DirtyShoreUnderground.com. While you're there, click through the Amazon link. You know you're shopping on Amazon anyway. Summer's coming up. You're buying a new bathing suit. You're getting some stuff for the beach. Whatever you're doing, everybody's shopping online. An easy way to support the podcast is to click through the Amazon link. It's on the homepage. It's on every individual post as well. When you click through there, it takes you to Amazon. You shop like you normally do. You pay. None of that. We don't see any of that. All we see is that you supported our podcast by going there because Amazon, as a thanks, sends us a little something back. So it's a great way to support the podcast. Make sure you're following at Dirty Shore UG on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. That's Dirty Shore UG on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We send out live updates, videos, all sorts of stuff. If you're following on Facebook, you would have saw an interesting video from last night. Oh, did you? Okay. Well, you would have seen an interesting video. So make sure you check out those video links there, including links to the live stream. We are live streaming this and every episode on YouTube, youtube.com/C/DirtyShoreUG-OTA. Scroll down to the section that says live comments. You can comment there, questions, comments, everything. Join in, be part of the podcast. We reach out, we read out everything that's on the right-hand side, so you can be part of the show, which posts every Thursday at DirtyShoreUnderground.com. So there you go.
Before we get started, I will say I noticed Walking Dead News or something like that.
Yeah.
Keeps retweeting our podcast
Because we're getting picked up.
and they corrected you with their last one.
Why is that?
They changed it to mid-season finale instead of
Yes.
season finale.
Yeah, they did. Gotta dig that, but I mean, in the end, we're still getting retweeted. So make sure you're following, and go ahead and if you're on Twitter, Dirty Shore UG, click the follow button. Also, click that little star so it lets you know when you're updated. That's the best way that you can tell that we are going to be posting a live stream. It gets you all the information right up front. So make sure you check that out there. So, what is on the agenda for today?
You want to start with the music, or you want to start with?
Yeah, let's go with the music.
Okay. So, first up, as everybody knows, we talk about Hobson quite a bit, along with a few other...
Well, I would say we talk about Funk Volume a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of it is Hobson based, but the other day, last Friday, SwizZz, which is Dame Ritter's brother, finally responded, and I think, as you said, it's probably about the nicest way to say "fuck you" anybody's ever used.
It really was.
Even with the song.
His post on Facebook, because he matched it with a Facebook post, but it was the nicest go fuck yourself ever, really. Because it was like, nothing but love, I got nothing but love for you, but go fuck yourself, really. But so he dropped in a single, if you want to call it that. It really is just a diss track entitled Automatic. If you're interested in that, make sure you check out the show notes. We'll put a link in the show notes to that video from SwizZz. So Hobson comes out strong, and he brings Illmind 8, which wasn't really an Illmind video.
Mm-hmm.
And then he drops two tracks, which are, the first of which was more like an Illmind video than Illmind 8 was, and then the second was another video. But Illmind was really a diss track towards Dame and SwizZz and everybody. And this is the first we're hearing from Funk Volume.
Actually, it was all on Dame, because he said good luck to everybody else.
He did say, but in a way you said fuck Funk Volume, I'm moving on. So what are your thoughts about this? Because this is really the initial response from Funk Volume back to Prodigy Underground and Hobson.
I believe. Give me a second, because I'm actually posting this to SwizZ's page, because I did tell him I would.
Let him know.
Yeah. So, because he does read people's shit, and sometimes he'll hit you back.
Never know.
So, it's an interesting situation.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, I actually think he handled himself quite well compared to what a lot of rappers would do. I think a lot of rappers would just go straight for the neck in their song, and he didn't even really do that.
Yeah, it really was. I don't want to say it was tame, but it was respectful. But in the same way, I mean, like I said, it was a very polite "fuck you." It was the way that he says "fuck you," and at the end, you're like, "Well, thanks, I appreciate that." But I mean, I think that the best thing about it though was the way that he acknowledged some of his part that he played in everything that went down. Because again, if you want to check out the show notes, it's at dirtyshowunderground.com. Go to this post. In the show notes, you'll have the video to SwizZz song "Automatic," and also connect to what I'm reading from, which is Genie's lyrics page from it. But he talks about that. I've always been a savage. Now it's time to get established. Family's waiting on me. I assure you not to panic. The support is overwhelming. I take none of it for granted. I used to overlook the money, so the money quickly vanished. And in some interviews that he's done, he's talked about how it was really easy for him not to work. That he was there supporting Hobson, and they threw him on a couple of the Funk Volume compilations.
He was featured all over all the Hobson shit, because at the beginning it was Hobson and SwizZz that started Funk Volume.
Right. But he kind of slept on it. We have not gotten a full album from him in the last 7 years.
Just a couple EPs, I believe.
Right. And for those people who might not be educated, EP, LP, what's the difference between the two of them?
EP is usually 4 or 5 songs tops. Only a few artists actually break that rule and still call it an EP.
Right.
Tech Nine and Twisted are the two big ones here.
Yeah.
For them, EP is 12 songs because they tend to do 24 tracks. They'll fit everything they can onto an LP.
And I was going to say, in the end, it's because it's really supposed to be half an album. When you used to get a record, or a tape even, an EP would be one side, and an LP would be both sides. So I think from Tech Nine...
Rock bands these days, you still usually don't see more than 12 songs maybe.
Right.
But a lot more goes into a rock song rather than just pushing buttons.
When I was going to say, I think Tech Nine does a 6-song or a 10-song EP because the album's going to be 22, 23 songs long. So for him, a two-sided record is 24 tracks. Like Dr. Dre, actually. It's one thing I loved about Dr. Dre's albums is they were always long, and Eminem's albums were the same way, and everybody's albums coming out of there were the same way.
I hate when the album's really good,
yeah,
and then really short.
Right, 6 to 8 songs.
Prozac's last album was 12 songs, I think, and it was less than an hour, and I'm so used to 15 to 17 songs, maybe 24 from them.
Yeah.
It's not enough.
So from SwizZz, an EP has been 4 or 5 songs. So. We've seen a couple of those. And
with SwizZz, if you go watch the automatic video on YouTube, and you sit there and you read the comments, you'll see fans go, "Oh my God, he dropped 2 songs in 1 year. What the hell's going on?" Because 2 solo songs in 1 year. Because he'll be featured on a lot of other people's stuff. He's used to, usually he's been dropping a song a year.
Yeah.
But I think in the song he mentioned being a parent, didn't he? Since you have the lyrics up.
Let's search the page. Parent? Nope. He says a parent. Shit is stupid. This shit is stupid. I do it. The differences are apparent.
Okay.
He put food on your table and we got punished for caring. Go ahead, embellish your story. The gay theatrics are corny. So, and Flash says going to Warped Tour and picking up free EPs. Yeah, it seemed like everybody on those tours hands out like a 2 or 3 track CD, and those are EPs, LPs. Some people had SPs. You remember SPs back in the day?
With like 2 tracks on it.
Yeah, where it was literally like, and what I think of from like the tours, they called them EPs, but they really were SPs. It was just a couple of songs, usually an intro where they talked, song, outro where they talked, and that was it.
Remember when they would put that shit out in Walmart?
Yeah.
It'd be 2 tracks, and then they'd charge you $5 for it?
It was a single, but it had 2 tracks on it, yeah.
It had like the radio version and the long version, and the album version was longer.
$5. And now you can get it on iTunes for $1. And you don't have to go to Walmart to do it.
Yep.
So,
although I still buy my CDs.
Because you like to have physical CDs?
Yes.
That's weird, but okay.
I don't feel like I own it if I can't touch it.
It's a very 20th century way to think. I live in the 21st century, so. Hi Brian, how are you? What's going on? Flash says a lot of compilations too, and hidden tracks. I did love where if you listen to the end of an LP and you just let it run, sometimes it, like the 20, like if you clicked
the last track would be like 20 minutes long.
Right, you just had to let it run.
15 minutes into it, there's a secret song.
Yeah.
ICP will always did that shit. Same with Twisted.
Yeah.
Or the backwards words.
Yeah.
And then you would sit there and fucking your 1997 computer fucking put it on there and
Cut,
sit there and flip it just so you can see what it is.
Yeah. But yeah, so overall though, what were your thoughts about the lyrics to SwizZ's song? Because I know you've listened to it more than one time.
I listened to it about 6 times during my trip to Royal Farms and back.
Right. So what are your thoughts?
I think they're pretty decent. It was a very nice way for him to put shit, but I think if Hobson responds, it's going to get really ugly on both ends.
Right. And so Hobson's been posting pictures. Literally the same. I think SwizZ's thing came out in the morning, because I think you sent me the link in the morning on Friday.
Probably.
And that afternoon, Hobson posted a picture of himself sitting at a desk. And then Saturday, he was sitting in bed, still working on the album, can't quit. And I'm like, oh, so something bad's coming. Like, you can just feel it, so.
Unless he decides to respond to SwizZ in a nice way, which would
be
a huge curveball. But I think it would still turn into a little bit of a rap beef, 3 or 4 songs.
It's like it's a nice beef, though. It's like, let's be nice to each other, but we're both telling 2 sides of the story. And to be honest, this whole Funk Volume thing, we only had Hobson's side of the story. We didn't know what was going on.
But even if SwizZ gives a side, it's still not a whole...
Well,
it's like 2/4 to a story.
It is. It's certainly not the whole thing. And SwizZ points out a couple of things in his lyrics. Loyal to my bloodline, I don't sit on the fence. So, I mean, from that, don't ask me for my opinion, just witness how this shit ends. Like, from that, I'm taking from that like, no matter what he really feels, he's got to stay on Dame's side. I mean, Dame is his blood, and well, one, Hobson's probably not going to let him come over there if he wanted to, but but he's got to stay. And it's none of this I got. There was any bitterness except for something that I learned when we looked at the lyrics today, which is in the hook he repeats the phrase, "I promise everything's good, man. Nobody's tripping." And what I learned today was that apparently Hobson sent a text to Dame and SwizZ that said, "I promise everything is good, man, nobody's tripping," while he was out putting together Underground Prodigy. And then he made this big announcement that I'm like leaving, and nobody suspected it because he kind of did it on the DL.
I kind of feel like the entire mess could have been avoided had they sat down and talked, maybe.
Yeah. And now they're going to fight it out.
Yeah, they're going to, wrap it out.
Wrap it out. Now they're going to fight it out in rap songs. So,
Hobson featuring the Cheek.
Yeah, right. Shit. But no, so the first verse is a lot of him, like, kind of talking about his disappointment in Hobson, and I think that's where people are getting the 2 sides of it. That somebody's offering another perspective. That Hobson was, he had this one public image, but that wasn't who he really was. And he always said it wasn't about the money, but then it must have been about the money because that's what he was talking about in Illmind 8. And how Dame was the one who was feeding him and stuff when they didn't have anything, and then Hobson just kind of spit in his face when it came time to leave. So,
I mean, I will say this in their defense: Hobson couldn't have been living too broke because he was still going to Australia.
Yeah,
he stayed there for a good month, I do believe.
Well, I think levels of poverty too. It's he looks like broke for you and me is not broke for necessarily everybody else. And traveling on tour. If you put together a tour and you get some dates together in Australia, you get to travel to Australia, and then you don't have to worry about the cost because it's kind of included in the cost of the trip, which is good, except when maybe you're not staying in the places you want to stay, or you don't get to see the people that you want to see. And certainly that becomes a problem. And I guess for Hobson, that's what the problem became, is that he wasn't living the life that he thought he should live with how much he was working. And I guess the question for him is he living that life now that he's on his own? And
honestly, to me, it seems like nothing's really changed for him. He just said that he was in Australia a couple days ago. So,
yeah.
And he was featured on Tony Hawk's show.
The Sirius radio show, which we talked about a few episodes ago. So make sure you check out DirtyShoeUnderground.com for more information about that. Go back a couple episodes. I think it was something Hobson, Heretics and Hobson episode. We talked about it. So
I'm wondering if he thinks he has to have a lot of money to be happy.
I think that is what SwizZz is saying in the song.
Because there's another rapper that'll tell you it's not always about the money.
Who's that?
Vanilla Ice.
Well,
they did a documentary with him a long time ago. He got rich, thought it would make him happy, started buying a bunch of shit, and then he tried to kill himself because he wasn't happy.
Right. And now, do you watch his show on whatever network it is?
Do It Yourself Network?
Yeah, DIY Network. And his message there is that like he appreciates giving back far more than he did actually making money doing it. No, I'm sure he's getting paid. I'm sure he's getting paid to do the damn show, but
he started doing flipping houses when he started getting paid because it was something he liked to do.
Right. So now he's making a living doing something that makes him feel better, and it's not really about the money; it's about doing the work, which is really what he appreciates. So, I mean, it's weird because there's no support really. There's no support groups for people for this community. I mean, like, the problem is if you want to teach the lesson that you don't need the money, you're not a rapper anymore. It's Vanilla Ice. It's MC Hammer. MC Hammer is doing like damn insurance commercials now.
I think Ice is better off than Hammer is.
Right, and I mean Vanilla Ice is on DIY. So then, if you are an aspiring rapper, if you are a rapper, you're looking at, well, there's one side of the coin. The other side is Jay-Z, who's worth $1 billion, and Dr. Dre, who's worth $1 billion, and 50 Cent, who's worth $1 billion, and all the people they keep around them. And so I think you get wrapped up in that life of Hobson's looking at people who are around those three, let's say just those three, and who are on the same level as him, and they're doing much better. But there's also something I think that is to be said for working for yourself. Because the reason that all three of those people are worth $1 billion is because they said, I'm keeping my thing. This is my thing and I'm working on it. Actually, you know what just occurred to me? Is that Straight Outta Compton came out last year, right before the breakup of Funk Volume. Do you think that got Hobson looking into the finances a little bit?
Like looking at shit like Ice Cube did?
Yeah, Dr. Dre and Ice Cube in there who felt like everybody was struggling, but then they looked around and realized that, Eazy-E wasn't struggling and Jerry wasn't struggling. And then they started realizing that maybe they're being taken advantage of.
That's an interesting possibility.
Because, I mean, that's weird, right? It's kind of, if you believe Hobson's side of the story, that is kind of, it's the same example. That there is a member of the group who is, at least from Hobson's point of view, less talented. I think Dane would agree. He's not talented when it comes to making music. That's not what he does. No. He handles the business end of things. So you had Eazy-E, who, although he did rap, was really, he was the front man who did the business end, taking advantage, and then Ice Cube rolled out.
But the funny thing about it is, Hobson was actually signed to Eazy's label.
That's right, and he had to get out of the contract.
Signed him for like $500 and then let him sit on the shelf.
That hadn't occurred to me before, but because the timing is weird, because Straight Outta Compton came out, and then later that year, Funk Volume broke up. So maybe he saw the example of Ice Cube and said, you know what, I can do that. I can strike out on my own. I don't need to be taken advantage of by somebody else.
I mean, if he's going to take the money he makes and make good shit, then I'm all for it.
Next up, Hobson's movie Thursday. Here we go, everybody. He's writing the movie Thursday right now.
Oh, man.
Flash said, I think that it tends to be just group dynamics. I mean, I think that's part of it too. Like, these guys have been friends for a long time, and they always say not to mix business with friends, because somebody's going to feel like they're getting taken advantage of at the end of the day. And she continues, it's not just for rappers exclusively. I mean, I think that's totally part of it, is that if you trust somebody to keep the books, you need to trust them to keep the books. And once you start getting suspicious, you got to walk away, because then you'll never trust anything, and that impacts everything. Mm-hmm. And again, not to like harp the example, but once Ice Cube had that suspicion, even if the books had come out right, he was already on his way out the door. And Dre basically was saying, you got to keep the faith that they're doing right by us. And
it was Cube, but going by the movie, Cube wasn't getting shit.
Yeah.
I did notice some differences from the movie compared to the real life shit, but me and you were old enough to know what happened because we were there. Even without internet, YouTube or MTV was huge, so every time something broke, it was right there to cover it.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, so I mean, in the end, it was artistic license. They took artistic license with the movie, but I find it's an interesting dichotomy that maybe it drew his attention and maybe he looked into it a little bit, but. Anyway, so that would mean that in this example, who is SwizZz in this example? Is SwizZz Dre sticking it out with Eazy? Or, I mean, I guess in the end, that doesn't really matter. It's
I would want to say that SwizZz would be Eazy-E and Dame would be Jerry, but...
I guess maybe that's kind of it, but
SwizZz ain't really...
Yeah, he's not running anything. He wasn't putting out music either, so... So what do you think? Do you think we're going to get a little more Eazy-E music? Or you think we're going to get a little more SwizZz music in the future?
I think we'll probably hear something from Hopsin within about 2 weeks, and then within another 2 weeks from that, we'll hear something from SwizZz. So.
And we'll get a little back and forth action. Here's a question: when are we going to hear something from Dame about this entire situation? Maybe never, but when?
I mean, a video. He could tell his side.
Yeah.
Everybody put their side out there, and then let the fans decide who's telling the truth, who's not.
And I'll tell you that the comments on Rap Genius here were basically that. It was, now we finally have two sides of the story, so we can kind of decide who's telling the truth based on what we know. And Flash says, wait, there was a time when MTV talked about music. Yes, there was a time when the M in MTV stood for music, not maternity. So, it wasn't just about teen fuck-ups and teen pregnancy.
But early 90s.
Yes, way back when. Or when Prince dies, apparently, because then they played music videos on MTV for like 48 hours after Prince died. It was all Prince, yeah. And Prince and songs that Prince actually wrote, even though we might not have known that he wrote them. Because that turns out there's a lot of shit that Prince did. Yes, Flash, we all wish there was more Eazy-E music. I don't think that there is any more Eazy-E music out there, unfortunately.
But there's always more Tupac music.
Always more Tupac. That's because he's really alive and living in Mexico. And we'll be getting Prince music for the next forever, because apparently he was producing 2 songs a day. 2 songs a day. That's ridiculous.
Well, there's just like Michael Jackson. Didn't they say he had a vault full of music that he never released? Yeah,
but unfortunately, the people... Well, I guess it remains to be seen about Prince to see who controls his music, whether or not they release it or not. But,
1 year anniversary of his death album.
You think? Every year on his birthday? Every year on the anniversary of his death?
Why not capitalize on it?
They should. And I mean, people will buy it. Corey would totally buy a new album every single year if he could. And, travel out to Paisley Park and get a free EP. How about that, too? So, I guess it remains to be seen. We'll have to see what comes next from SwizZz and from Hopsin. Like I said, the fact that Hopsin keeps posting these pictures, you got to imagine that it's like the bully who's like rearing back his fist on you because he wants SwizZz to know that it's coming. It's coming, and then it hits. And I don't know if I'm SwizZz. I don't know that I don't just drop another one. Do the Drake. What was it Drake said? Back to back. Drop the back-to-back diss tracks. I gave you 3 days to respond. You didn't respond. Boom. Here's another diss track. And see what happens. But I guess we'll have to see. Let's see what happens.
Hopsin's too busy playing skate out in Australia somewhere. So.
I was going to say that because I saw that he said he was in Australia, but it didn't look like he was in Australia. And I don't know if he's touring or what. I know he's got some dates coming up in the U.S.
I think that's where his woman's from.
Right, so maybe
which
he's
would
just
explain
traveling.
why he's always there.
That is a fucking long trip just to go to, though. To like go see somebody and come back. Fuck, man.
Obviously, he has more money than he cares to admit to.
I doubt he's taking private jets. I mean, you could still take. I guess you could take first class and get like a little pod that you can sleep in. But
to go back and forth all the time.
Fuck, man, it's like a 20-hour trip. So you're flying 40 hours back there and back to hang out for a couple of days. Like, no, thank you, never. No matter how much money I had, if I had a private jet, I still wouldn't fly that.
That'd be a lot of jet fuel.
Fuck, still wouldn't do it.
How much does the cost of jet fuel? Pending your last investigation.
Well, for military grade jet fuel, it's $40,000 or $23,000 an hour. So, for an hour flight, $23,000,
which is ridiculous.
Flash says it's super cheap there, meaning Australia. Yeah, the problem is getting there. Getting there is the problem in time and in cost of flight. Because can you imagine sitting in coach all the way to Australia? That's gotta just be fucking miserable. God, just tight seat. 24 hours. If I ever go to Australia, here's the thing I promise you. If I ever go to Australia, it'll be one of two ways. One, on a boat, just go and be happy to go. Or two, I will fly to Japan, spend a couple days in Japan. Fly to Vietnam, spend a couple days in Vietnam. Then fly to Indonesia, spend a couple days in Indonesia. Then fly to Australia. Like, break that fucking trip up a little bit.
There's only one reason I would go to Australia.
Why?
The Croc Hunters Zoo.
Why would that? Why is that?
Because I would like to go visit the zoo there.
It's just a fucking zoo, though.
But I grew up on the Croc Hunter. Why not?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Flash says after tourism, there is nothing there. Nothing really inland. I just had a friend that moved there because it was so cheap. Yeah, I mean, I imagine it's cheap, but I also imagine that I don't want to spend 40 hours on a plane to get
I wouldn't
there.
want to live there because their regulations on video games and movies are fucking horrible.
Yeah. I don't really care about that stuff, so that's alright for
You
me.
watch movies?
I do, but Netflix, so shit. The fuck do I care? I mean, I haven't even seen X-Men Apocalypse, and somebody in this room has.
It's the ghost back there.
Uh-huh.
We don't pirate nothing around here.
Right, of course.
Just so the government knows.
Well, it's from one group of pirates to another. Another big thing that happened this week was Anonymous came out with a big message. So, what was the big news from Anonymous this week?
Operation New Renaissance.
Yes.
Apparently, you figured out more about it than I did. For me, it was like pushing a button and hitting reset and going back to a time where things were a bit more civil. Not so much based on the internet.
Well, yes and no. So the original Renaissance period pulled us out of the Dark Ages. It was focusing on art and music and trying to make things creative again. What they point out in the beginning of the video is we make some really stupid shit and put it online.
Who does the fucking vodka thing? Like, really?
That was a thing like a year and a half ago.
Why would you?
Because you absorb the vodka through your eye, and then you get drunk really fast.
That's gotta burn like hell.
I'm sure it does. I can only imagine. Even watching them do it, I'm like, damn,
No, why? No.
Listen, you really want to get drunk, just put a funnel in your ass and drop the vodka in there, and you'll be good to go.
Well, apparently that can kill you. Remember the that one show, 1,000 Ways to Die? Or
Oh, yeah.
Apparently somebody died from it.
Really? How about that? Oh, yes, Flash, and science. Music, the arts, and science. So what it looks like Anonymous is doing is they want to, instead of posting your stupid Kylie Jenner lip video or planking or...
Did you ever plank?
No. Fuck no, I didn't. None of these dumb trends do I get behind.
Did you do the ALS challenge?
I did not do the ice bucket challenge either. No.
I did that one for shits and giggles.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. The point of the ice bucket challenge was this. If you did the ice bucket, it means you didn't donate to ALS research. The better thing to do is to donate and not do the ice bucket. Cheap bastards. Bunch of skinflints, that's what I got. But, no, so no, I didn't do this. I didn't do the ice bucket. I didn't do planking. I didn't do, don't put any stupid shit online, right?
There's a video of me being tased on my YouTube somewhere.
Yeah.
another video of me being hit with a kendo stick somewhere. And I've
Yeah.
been hit by a chair multiple times on
this show.
podcast,
Yeah.
So.
Flash, a kid used to soak tampons in vodka and put them in their ass. I remember, I think, girls in my high school used to soak tampons in vodka and just use them as per instructed to get drunk. Like, and they just get drunk at school. Like, what the fuck? Because you didn't have alcohol in your breath, because it popped right in. I don't get any of that stuff. It seems stupid to me. But, so, what Anonymous is asking is that instead of posting these dumbass videos of you doing dumb stuff, whatever pop culture tells you to do, to post you doing something creative, something that builds up everything, builds up the world, I guess. Something like
vaping then.
Sure, till the FDA struck it.
Yep.
Which we do have a podcast coming about the FDA. We're going to try and put something together with a guest. So once we do that, we'll have that podcast for you guys. But no, what I was going to say is, like, heretics. Doing something creative that's got a message. And of course, if you've been paying attention to the last few episodes of us, like I said, go back and re-listen to Heretics and Hops and episode where we talk about it. But you can go to otheanthem.com or youtube.com/otheanthem and check out our Heretics videos. This podcast is a proud member of the OD Anthem Network. Where we're working on, we'll see. So we've been posting those Heretics videos, and I think that's exactly the kind of stuff to look for. They find a talent and put it out on the internet. And speaking of Heretics, we really do love making those videos for you. And, you know, as with everything, there's a cost that's associated with it. And a great way to help us defer the cost of producing great content like Heretics is to become one of our supporters on Patreon, patreon.com/OTheAnthem. That's patreon.com/OTheAnthem. You go on there, and for as little as $1 a month, you can sign up and become a supporter, a monthly supporter. You get access to a bunch of rewards depending on what level you sign up for. And it's a great way to not only support this podcast, but to support the whole network so we can keep producing all this great free content for you. So make sure you check that out, patreon.com/OTheAnthem. So Anonymous is pushing people to make this creative content. And Flash asks, who decides that, if it's creative or not? It sounds like it could be stifling. Well, again, if you want to check out the show notes to this video, they'll be available at dirtyshow.underground.com. What they've said is, no one decides. You post it, it gets categorized by Anonymous, but everything that gets sent in will be posted. And all they're going to do is just try to give it some kind of logical order so that if you're looking for something, you'll be able to find it. My guess is they're just going to hashtag stuff. They'll create their own set of hashtags so that when you're looking through, you can click on it and find similar stuff.
I do want to say, the second he started playing the
organ?
Yeah.
Yep.
I was like, alright, Tech9's about to come out and rap. Doesn't come out and rap, lights start flashing. I was still like, alright, this is cool. The backdrop comes down, and it comes back up, and the lights are coming, flashing behind it. I'm like, alright, Tech9's about to rap. Nope, he walks out on the stage with the mask, and it's just doing one of these.
Yeah.
And then drops the mask and does his whole little break dance. That was cool what they did with him, but I hope they do more and he actually gets to rap about something.
So if you go back to, I think last fall, we actually talked about it, that Anonymous sent out a video, like sending a message directly to Tech9 and saying, you know, we love that you gave us a shout out. We have this great idea. We want to work with you on it. Well, this video was a reveal of what that project is. It's
and we've seen pictures of people wearing the Anonymous mask, V for Vendetta mask,
yeah,
at Strange headquarters, and we questioned whether or not it was actually Anonymous.
Yeah,
I'm assuming now at this point it was Anonymous.
People shooting a video. Yeah, so they make this call out to Tech9 to do something together, and apparently what they wanted to do together was hashtag OpNewRenaissance 2016. I was a little disappointed that Tech9 wasn't rapping.
Me too.
But I gotta think that what they're doing is they're putting together a media package, and that there'll be other videos down the road in which he raps. They did pull a section from his
the song about his mom.
The song about his mom, and they put it at the end of the video. Again, you can be able to check out the this video at dirtyshow.underground.com in the show notes of this episode. Make sure you check that out. But yeah, so I mean, here's the thing. Anonymous does good work for what it's worth, and I think that they are as far as the digital world is concerned, which touches everybody. I mean, we are bringing this to you on a digital format. Yes, Flash. It's not an Anonymous mask. It's not a V for Vendetta mask. It is technically a Guy Fawkes mask. Guy Fawkes, who tried to kill the king and blow up the Westminster, the House of Parliament, with kegs of black powder. So, but nonetheless, so
I just learned something.
That's Guy Fawkes. Yeah, Guy Fawkes. 'Twas his intent to blow up the king in Parliament. 60 barrels down below, the king and crown to overthrow. So,
I have to look it up.
That's the rest of the remember the 5th of November. The gunpowder treason and plot. I see no reason why the gunpowder treason shall ever be forgot. Guy Fawkes, 'twas his intent to blow up the king in Parliament. 60 barrels down below, the king and crown to overthrow.
Is that you quoting V for Vendetta?
No, that's actually a song that was made about Guy Fawkes.
Oh.
And then V for Vendetta uses that for a mask. Yeah, the reason that they use the mask is because he's a symbol of overthrowing. And not to get into it, but Guy Fawkes really wanted to overthrow a democratically elected parliament that was led by a king, but more like the king that we know today, who was just a figurehead. And he wanted to kill all of them and install a king that was chosen by the Pope, because Guy Fawkes was Catholic, and he wanted to return the Catholic Church to England. So not really the most upstanding of reasons, but nonetheless, he's become a symbol of revolution for people. But so Anonymous does good work. I don't think anybody would say that they don't. They have revealed who was, KKK members in police and political groups in the South. They have gone after ISIS. They have they've exposed political nonsense everywhere. They've outed secretly gay congressmen and senators who are then anti-gay in public. Like, I think they do a lot of good work, but there's only so much you can do in the digital world. At some point, you got to step out into the real world and go do something. And I think that this is a mixed bag of that. This is the next step. It's getting everyone to produce stuff to try and change what's being produced online. Let's not make cat videos anymore. Let's make something. That dude playing the organ is fucking amazing. And by the way, he's playing the Phantom of the Opera.
I know.
Just saying. Okay.
I knew that one.
Okay.
So yeah, I knew that one.
Yeah. So
I'm not completely misinformed. I knew that one.
He does if he's actually playing, which I think he is, because it looks like he is. He did a fucking amazing job playing Phantom of the Opera. And maybe that's why Tech9 didn't rap, because he didn't want to ruin that song. You know, that ruin the guy's playing of the song by rapping over it.
Well, could you imagine Tech9 rapping
over the Phantom of the Opera? I can only imagine what he would come up with. So that shit would be crazy. But, I mean, so we'll have to see. We'll have to see what's produced by it. I hope everybody steps up. But again, I think it's a nice intercessory move, because everything's been online. Now they're saying, produce good stuff and let's put it online. Let's get all this bullshit off of the internet and start doing good work with it. Hopefully the next step is, let's go out into the real world and do some things.
Although we can't say they don't do anything in the real world, because we don't know who they are. So they could also be on front lines of protests and nobody would ever know it.
That is a very good point. And I suppose that we don't know. No, Flash, we can keep none of the cat videos. No cat videos at all. No. Get rid of the cat videos. And get rid of the puppy videos. Get rid of all the stuff that doesn't matter.
I don't like dogs anyway.
We need to start focusing on stuff that matters. And I think that they're looking to start a new cultural revolution. It's getting people thinking about the right things and doing the right things, and that's what we need to do. So, but I do hope that we eventually get some new Tech9 material. I would really like to see him do just a song about Anonymous, because he did give him that like one little shout out. At least Anonymous is hacking for peace. Let's do a whole fucking track just about that, and have him do it on an Anonymous video. I think that would be great.
That would be epic.
Yeah. So I guess we remain.
That would be Uber.
It would be Uber. Yeah. Uber great. But in the end, though, I mean, we'll have to see. And they're starting the op now. I think that the video was an announcement of the op. So if you do anything, if you produce anything, be sure and put it together. If it's music, if it's videos, if it's, you know, having a lightsaber battle. Huh?
Something productive.
Anything that's not just the typical garbage that we see on there or the trending stuff. Produce it, put it up there, and let's see what you got. Let's see how much talent people have out there. So that'd be fun. Flash says Chewbacca Lady, the most shared video in Facebook's history. I'm split on the Chewbacca Lady. Did you see the Chewbacca Lady video?
Mm-hmm. Really? I was about to ask what the fuck is the Chewbacca Lady.
So there's a woman who goes to Kohl's, purchases. All right, I'll get this too. Check out the show notes at dirtyshowanderground.com. I'll have the video there. She gets a mask that's Chewbacca. And when you open your mouth, the mask goes, oh! So you can talk, and while you're talking, the mask is roaring. So the thing about it is, the joy that she experiences is totally pure. And people are sharing the video not because, you know, they want to say something mean about her, or not because they're making fun of her, but because they are happy that she's happy. And that is great. But, that video got 77 million views in 40 hours or so. Yeah.
I wish we could get that many views in a day or two.
Everybody's sharing this video of the Chewbacca Lady, and that's great. In the same time period that it took her to get internet famous and go from being nobody to on James Corden's show, police in this country shot and killed 4 people. 4 citizens. And I can't tell you who those citizens were, but by statistics, 4 citizens were shot in that period. Officer Nero was acquitted on all charges in Baltimore City in the Freddie Gray trial. Millions of people died of starvation in third world countries. We are more concerned about what's going on in people's bathrooms than the fact that kids don't have health care. All of these things are issues, and what we're talking about is this stupid fucking video of a woman in a Chewbacca mask. And I think what Anonymous is looking to do is to get us thinking about the right things again. Let's start thinking about advancing society. Because what the Renaissance really did was, if we started focusing on science and music and art, we start thinking about things. And the reason we have the society that we have today is because the Renaissance happened. They started thinking about medicine, and then we started learning more about the human body. And then they started thinking about art, and then it was, you know, this and that and this, and then Leonardo da Vinci was a product of the Renaissance. And we start encouraging people to do art. It helps to advance society, and that's what we need to do. Yes, the Blue Ninja Turtle. That's exactly. But, you know, in the end, I think there's a lot that could go on, and we're not doing it. Flash says, but we should have that video because it's pure joy in a shitty world. I'm not saying we shouldn't have that video. I'm saying that if 77 million people can watch that video, 77 million people should watch the video of the cops executing a guy in San Francisco, or cops executing a guy in Michigan, or the recount in the city election race in Baltimore, or any number of things that really people should have their hands on. But we just want to be distracted. And the problem during the Dark Ages were that people wanted to be distracted away from how bad their lives were, so they looked at the church and they said, tell us how to be happy. And we have religion now, and in a lot of ways the internet's become a separate religion, where it's like,
there are too many religions.
Well, there are too many religions, but in a way, internet's become its own religion, because it's about, like, what's the new happening thing? I want to be up, a fear of missing out, all that stuff. It's why we can't look away from our phones wherever we are. So, you know, if we're going to have that, at least let's move it in the right direction. The Renaissance, a lot of the art was religious in nature, because it got people to say, okay, I'm all focused on God and tell me the way. Oh, hey, that's a pretty painting. Now I'm thinking about paintings, but because it was religious, it got my attention. And I think that we need to move in that direction. So we'll see how it works out. But I'm hopeful. I mean, I know Anonymous has some pretty big pull online. Hopefully that video gets 77 million views and people start uploading stuff, and it starts the next wave of creativity. That'd be fantastic. So.
I think they were like 20,000 or something like that when I looked earlier.
And that's another thing. I mean, Anonymous is calling for us to start the next wave of cultural revolution. not only in this country but in the world. 20,000 views in a week. How many days? About a week.
Something like that.
Yeah. This Chewbacca lady gets 77 million views in 40 hours.
See, I can't go into it with the cop stuff, as you know why. I respect Scott a lot, so I stay with him.
I respect Scott too, but yo, get the bad cops.
But this weekend at the vape shop, there was a girl in there that was asking questions about stuff that we had. Spence was hanging out, and somehow the whole backroom thing came up. And she has kids.
Yeah.
And same thing that last week when Karina came upstairs and was, because it was the same thing with Spence.
Yeah, yeah.
I walked in the back.
Let him go.
I walked in the back and just
Let him go.
I was, no, not today.
Don't want a part of it.
And then I just walked back out and I was like, no, don't do it. Shut up. And then eventually I was like, you know why this is the topic of the discussion for something that people have been doing for 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 years maybe? Is because the government wants your distraction over here so they can do something shady over here.
Something else is going on. It's always that way. Ebola wasn't that big of a deal. We made it a big deal. Meanwhile, other things are going on. That's just what happens.
Although, since I was in the vape shop, I said they're distracting you with the backroom shit so they can ban vaping.
Well, of course. Well, your life is all about vaping, so.
A little bit.
Yeah. Alright, so I will keep tabs on what's going with hashtag Operation New Renaissance 2016. Make sure they, like I said, I encourage everybody, upload your videos, do what you got to do. We'll look forward to it. So, and we'll keep that posted in the next few weeks. And if you post something to Anonymous, send it to us too. DirtyShoreUG@gmail.com. Post it on the Dirty Shore UG page on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, anywhere. We'd be happy to share it. I'd love to see everything you guys have to offer. So,
before we go, I do want to say I binge watched the new show.
Which one?
The Scream TV show.
Oh God, how was it?
I will say this: I continued to watch the entire season.
Right.
Because I seen it on Netflix the other day when I was just flipping through.
Yeah.
It's like, alright. Click. From the first episode all the way to the last episode, I wanted to know who the fuck the killer was.
Right.
And that's what kept me watching it.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to end up watching season 2 when it starts at the end of the month.
I was going to say, it's starting up soon, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All in all, it was pretty decent.
It was pretty
decent. Somebody died every episode, and for being a show that was on MTV,
yeah,
they had some pretty graphic shit. In one episode, somebody's guts fell out their stomach into the ground. You see a woman trying to push the guts back inside the person.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, holy shit.
Well, alright. Well, maybe I will have to check it out then. I just assumed it was going to be like super lame and.
So did I. That's why I didn't watch it when they first announced it.
Killer walks into follows you in the dark room. We hear a scream and that's it. But apparently it's graphic.
It's really interesting, and it'll hold. If you get through the first 2 episodes, it'll probably hold you for the whole season. And with it being on Netflix, you can binge it in 7 hours, I think.
Okay. Well, good. So I'll check it out. But before we go, there's sorry, Flash. That's the Scream television show, SCREAM. I'll put it in the show notes of the episode as well.
Although, sadly enough, Wes Craven won't be a producer on season 2.
Well, he'll still get paid, so good for him. But yeah.
Down the foot. His wife will get paid.
Well, his estate will get paid.
Yeah,
that's all that matters. But it's available on Netflix, so check it out on Netflix. So, for the surprise, here's what it is. I have a challenge for you.
I don't know if I want to know what this challenge is.
You do. It's going to be fun. So, this afternoon, I purchased DDP Yoga's combo pack with the 11 workouts.
On your phone?
No, I'm getting the DVDs.
Oh, you're getting the DVDs?
Getting the DVDs and the thing and the guide and the poster and the whole thing.
What made you do that?
It popped up randomly on Facebook.
I mean, you were very skeptical about it.
I was very skeptical, but
Did Tony sway you when you tried it?
Nothing from Tony. I went on the website and then I did I saw the videos on the website, saw videos on the Facebook page, went to the videos on the website, and then I went to other places where other people were talking about fitness, and it was getting mentioned there too. And it was just like, flexibility for me is my big problem. I am not flexible, holds me back a lot, and that was the main thing I was hearing from everybody. So
So when are you starting?
Here's my challenge for you.
Whenever you're starting means that's when I gotta start.
We are gonna do it again, and here's what we're gonna do. We are going to do measurements. We will agree what the measurements are, and we will start it up probably next week. I think it gets delivered June 3rd, which would be the next Friday. So maybe the Monday after that we start. Take your measurements.
The calendar starts on Monday. So.
Right, yeah. So take your measurements, take your weight, and then we are going to keep track of the workouts and everything.
Did you get the full one with the extreme and all that shit?
I didn't get the extreme. I got the one down from that with like the 11 workouts, but not the extreme DVD. I don't know that I'll ever be able to do the extreme DVD, so if necessary, I can get it. It's like $5 extra. But I got the one with the extra workouts, but not the extreme workouts. So, but
we'll be running off disc 1 and 2, basically.
Yeah, and listen, you can do whatever you want, follow whatever plan you want. You can do it 3 times a day if you want. But we're going to keep track, and every week we're going to check in, and we're going to see where everybody is, and every month we're going to check in, and we're going to do like a check-in on weight and measurements after a month. And just see where we are. And what we will do is, if anybody wants to follow along and play along with us, we can post everything to the Dirty Shore Underground page. We'll make sure and post things to the Dirty Shore Underground Instagram and Twitter page and Facebook at Dirty Shore UG, so you can play along with us at home if you accept the challenge.
I accept that challenge.
Hallelujah. All right, so play along with us at home, guys. We are coming up
this weekend. People can see me doing yoga in the vape shop.
We are playing. Well, if you want to get started early, you certainly can. But we are coming up on Memorial Day, so this is going to be our summer challenge. Our summer challenge for the Dirty Shore Underground. If you want to play along with us at home, feel free. Just let us know on the Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter, wherever, at Dirty Shore UG that you're going to play along with us. Check out DDP Yoga. I'll put the link down in the show notes here as well, so you can pick up the DVDs. It is available streaming on the phone, on any device, and you don't even have to get the DVDs.
Have you watched some of the testimonials from
I did.
Like, old wrestlers?
That's what finally convinced me.
The Jake Roberts documentary that they did.
I saw parts of that, I heard him on Adam Carolla's show, and he spoke wonders about it.
He was in horrible.
That's what he said, mentally and physically, and it brought him back. DDP brought him back from the brink of suicide. So we're gonna see, but come and play along with us. DDP Yoga. Go to the show notes at dirtyshoreunderground.com and check it out. Yeah.
Do we follow the food regimen that they recommend, or do we just eat whatever the fuck we want?
You can do
if doing this still loses weight.
You can do whatever you want to do. This is a challenge for us personally to keep each other motivated. It's a challenge between us, and it's a challenge for all the members of the Alliance out there to join us if they want to join us. But this is a personal challenge for yourself. We are going to keep each other motivated. That's what makes it a challenge amongst all of us.
So we're going Biggest Loser style. Whoever loses the most weight each week.
Yeah, it's
surprise, maybe.
Maybe, but this is more than that. This is about you challenging yourself. It's about knowing that you're going to have to come in here every single week and say, I only did 3 workouts. I only did 3 days this week. Or I did 3 days, but I did 3 workouts for 3 days.
There's some hard-ass workouts, and if you go way back to when we had Tony on the season 6 Walking Dead premiere, we even talked about it because he did it right before you came over, and it whooped his ass, and he is a bodybuilder.
Yeah. So if you want to play along with us, check out the links at dirtyshoreunderground.com. But that's what we're going to do. It's going to be a personal challenge. It's all about improving yourself. Listen, nobody is holding you up to any standards at all. This is about you challenging yourself to do something that you haven't done before. We're going to take the 90 days of summer, Memorial Day to Labor Day, see where we come up at the end of the summer. And
that means I need to get the DVDs to Russell, because Russell's been wanting to do it too. So Chrysler involved him.
Come on and join us. Come on and join us. So if you want to join in, you'll be able to sign up for us. There's no real sign up. It's just, hey, I'm playing along with you guys. You can check in with us every week. We'll be checking in with you. So make sure that you do that, and make sure that you're following us at Dirty Shore UG on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Make sure you're going to dirtyshoreunderground.com. New episodes of the podcast every Thursday. While you're there, make sure you click through to the Amazon link. Although you can't get DDP at Amazon, you have to go directly to the website. That link will be available in the show notes for this episode.
I will say, like most people, I laughed at the fact of yoga for losing weight, staying in shape. But as you'll see when you do the DVDs, DDP has not been in a gym in years.
Yeah.
And he's still fit
Looks
as shit.
crazy.
So, he's doing something right. And when I was doing it, I felt great.
Yeah.
Like I always have issues with my leg. If I'm laying on the left side, it hurts ever since the accident when we were working at Pizza Empire.
Yeah.
But when I was doing that, that feeling started to go away.
So now we're going to get back to it.
Yeah.
All right, so DirtyShoreUnderground.com, new episodes of the podcast every Thursday. Make sure you are following at Dirty Shore UG on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We'll send out links to the new episodes. Make sure you join us for the live streams that are available online at youtube.com/C/Dirty Shore UG-OTA. We live stream every single podcast. Make sure you join us there so you can comment like Flash and Brian have and become part of the podcast or ask questions. And let us know that you're playing along with us on the DDP Summer Challenge. So we'll look forward to that. Make sure you check out my stuff. I'm available online at Robert N. Cheek on our social networks. Make sure you check out robertncheek.com. Sign up for my mailing list there. Check out my news website, the political blog. And you can find out way more information all about me, including the books, which, by the way, the first draft of the calls is done. And it's being
Can I read it?
going through editing. It's going through editing right now, and we'll be back
Read it?
end of the summer. End of the summer.
If you let me read it,
It's the first draft. When I have a final draft, then you can read it.
I want to read the first draft.
You
Because
can't
then
read
I
the
can
first
pick
draft.
apart the differences.
Nah, you can read the finalized draft. So make sure you check that out. And make sure you are checking out OTheAnthem.com for more about the OThe Anthem digital network. We are a proud member of that network. New episodes of that podcast every Tuesday. And make sure you're joining in with the Alliance at Anthem Alliance, available on all your social networks, including Snapchat. Make sure you join in there. Join in with the Alliance. Become part of us.
Snapchat's still a thing?
Snapchat has always still been the thing. So make sure you join us there at Anthem Alliance, and they will be getting their own feed. New episodes of that podcast every Friday. So now, if you are joining in with this podcast network, you are getting new episodes every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, with a new podcast to come very shortly. But we look forward to sharing with you this adventure for the summer, the DDP summer. Here we go. So other than that, we will catch you next week for a brand new episode of this podcast on Thursday. Until then, have a great week, everybody.
Good night, everybody. And for the people watching,